He's right there, kissing your neck, pulling you closer, his hands exploring, his breath heavy with desire. And your body, it's ready, the room's heating up, every part of you feels alive. But right before he enters you, right before the moment everything shifts, you do something that makes him stop. Not out of confusion, but because he's never felt anything like it. And in that pause, that single moment, you leave a mark he will never forget. Because what makes a man tremble forever isn't your body, it's the way you own the moment before anything even happens. It's what you do right before that turns sex into something sacred and you into someone unforgettable. Let's talk about it. Before physical intimacy begins, there is a space, often overlooked, that holds immense power. It's the moment right before anything happens. And what makes this moment unforgettable isn't physical preparation or seductive technique. It's emotional presence. When you're with someone in an intimate setting, your energy speaks louder than your touch. Most people are too focused on how they look, what they're doing, or whether they're good enough to impress someone physically. But real impact doesn't come from how you move your body, it comes from how present you are in the moment. Imagine you're about to be intimate with someone, the energy is building, they're close, your body is responding, but in that exact moment, rather than getting carried away by the rush, you pause internally, you check in with yourself, you breathe, you allow yourself to feel what's happening, not just physically, but emotionally. That's presence, and it shifts the entire dynamic. You're no longer reacting, you're leading. You're setting the emotional tone of the experience. Most people rush past this point. They let their nerves or their desire to please take over. But the people who leave a lasting impression are the ones who are grounded in themselves. They aren't thinking, is this enough? They're thinking, is this real for me right now? That mindset invites the other person to slow down, to be conscious, to meet you where you are emotionally, not just physically. There's something deeply magnetic about someone who is fully there with you. Someone who looks at you like the moment matters, not because they're trying to create a fantasy, but because they're truly feeling what's happening between the two of you. That kind of presence creates tension, the good kind, the kind that lingers in someone's memory long after the moment is over. Is what makes someone say, there was something different about her, something I can't quite explain. And here's the truth. Emotional presence doesn't mean saying anything poetic or doing anything dramatic. It's as simple as a breath, a pause, a look into someone's eyes that holds stillness. In that stillness, you say everything that words can't. You say, I'm here, I'm not rushing, I value this moment, and I value myself in it. That depth changes how a man experiences you, not just in that moment, but every time he thinks of you after. When you're emotionally present, you show that intimacy with you isn't a transaction, it's an experience, one that engages not just the body, but the heart and the soul. That's the kind of presence that doesn't fade. That's what makes someone tremble, because they know they're not just entering your body, they're stepping into something real. Confidence in your standards is one of the most powerful, attractive, and unforgettable qualities you can carry, especially in moments leading up to intimacy. It's easy to assume that what makes someone desirable is how much they give, how much they offer, how much they're willing to do to make another person happy. But the truth is, the most magnetic people aren't the ones who bend over backward to be chosen. They're the ones who choose themselves first. When you have strong standards, you're not walking into a situation hoping to be liked. You're entering with the quiet strength of someone who knows their worth, and because of that, you naturally filter what you allow in. It's not about being cold or difficult, it's about knowing what kind of energy, respect, and effort you deserve and refusing to settle for anything less. That energy is not only empowering for you, but incredibly alluring to someone who's truly ready to connect. A man may be physically attracted to many, but what makes a woman unforgettable is the way she holds herself. When she doesn't compromise her boundaries just to keep someone close. When she's willing to walk away from what doesn't align with her values, even if it's tempting or exciting in the moment. That level of self-trust is rare, and it commands attention in the deepest way. In a world where many people say yes because they fear losing connection, saying no from a place of love and self-respect stands out. It tells the other person, I'm not afraid to be alone if it means honoring myself. That doesn't push a high-value man away. It makes him lean in because he senses that you are not afraid to stand in your truth. Your standards also act like a mirror. They show others how they're allowed to treat you. If you let someone cross your boundaries in the hope that they'll love you more, you silently teach them that your comfort is negotiable. But if you speak up, if you assert your needs and limits with calm certainty, you set a tone of emotional safety and mutual respect. A woman who knows her standards and isn't afraid to communicate them becomes someone a man doesn't just want to sleep with, he wants to build with. Why? Because she isn't desperate for attention. She isn't seeking validation. She's already whole. And people don't forget the feeling of being around someone who doesn't need them, but chooses them from a place of strength. Confidence in your standards also shapes how you feel about yourself after intimacy. Instead of waking up wondering, did I give too much, or what does he think of me? You feel grounded, proud, and at peace because you stayed aligned with your truth. You didn't sacrifice your dignity to keep the moment going. You led with value, and that value lasts far longer than a fleeting night. There's a moment that can change everything, not with words, not with touch, but with a single intentional look. Eye contact, when it's vulnerable and unguarded, carries more emotional weight than anything physical. In the seconds before intimacy, when two people are standing on the edge of something deeper, that look becomes a doorway. It's where connection either deepens or stays surface level. And most people miss it because they're too busy performing, too focused on what's next, rather than being fully immersed in what's now. When you lock eyes with someone right before things get physical, and you let them see you, not just your desire, but your soul, that's when everything changes. It's the kind of moment that makes someone pause, not out of confusion, but because they can feel the depth behind it. A real look, vulnerable, soft, but unwavering, tells a story without saying a word. It says, I'm here with you, I'm not hiding, I'm not rushing, and this matters to me. That kind of eye contact is rare, because true vulnerability is rare. It requires dropping the walls we've built, the ones that protect us from being seen too deeply. Many people avoid eye contact in intimate moments because it makes them feel too exposed, too real. But that's the very reason why it's powerful. Letting someone see your sincerity, your emotion, your presence. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you unforgettable. In that silence between two people where only the eyes are speaking, an emotional imprint is made. It's not about seduction in the traditional sense. It's about resonance. You're letting them feel something that no physical act can replicate, the sensation of being seen and seen by someone who is unafraid to be seen in return. That mutual exposure creates a kind of emotional electricity, the kind that stays in someone's memory far longer than any single moment of touch. What's often misunderstood is that this eye contact isn't meant to impress, it's meant to connect. You're not trying to create tension just for excitement. You're creating intimacy, the kind that can only happen when two people drop the masks and allow something real to exist between them. It's in that gaze that a man can start to feel like this is different, not because of how you look or what you say, but because you've invited him into something that feels rare and grounding. This one moment, eye to eye, heart to heart, is not about control or manipulation. It's about truth. It's about saying with your eyes, you're not just about to touch my body, you're about to step into something sacred. And when you give someone that experience, you give them something they didn't even know they were looking for, a memory that stirs them, lingers with them, and pulls them back to you again and again. Not for what you did, but for the depth of what you allowed them to feel. Before physical intimacy begins, there's a window of opportunity to build something far more powerful than desire: emotional anchoring. It's in this space that you get to show someone how you want to be seen, not through pressure or expectations, but through genuine appreciation and presence. When you make someone feel valued in a way that goes beyond attraction, you plant yourself in their emotional memory. And the most lasting intimacy is built not on demand, but on depth. And depth, many people go into these moments hoping to secure something. More closeness, more love, more commitment. That hope can quickly turn into unspoken pressure. You may not say it out loud, but energy never lies. When someone feels like they're being measured against invisible expectations, they don't lean in, they tense up. What creates a stronger impact is showing someone that you already see them, already appreciate them, already feel something real before they've proven anything through physical closeness. Gratitude is disarming. It's also unforgettable. When you pause in a moment that could easily slide into routine passion and you express something sincere, whether it's how you feel seen or how safe you feel or how much you appreciate the way they've shown up emotionally, it doesn't just elevate the moment, it elevates you in their eyes. You shift from being someone who's reacting to the moment to someone who's shaping it. That kind of woman doesn't get lost in the crowd. She stays with him long after the moment ends. It's not about giving compliments to make someone like you. It's about revealing that your connection isn't just physical, it's layered, it's intentional. You're saying, in your own way, I don't need this moment to prove anything. I already value what we've created. That assurance, that calm confidence allows a man to relax into the experience, to open up emotionally, and to connect with you beyond the surface. What makes this even more powerful is that it shifts the focus from outcome to presence. You're no longer trying to guide where things go, you're showing him how things feel. And that difference is subtle but seismic. When a man feels appreciated without being expected to perform or deliver, he's more likely to want to give from a place of authenticity. He feels invited, not obligated. And that invitation, wrapped in appreciation, is what makes intimacy feel sacred. Even if you say just one sentence, something like, I feel really connected to you right now, or I've loved the way you've made me feel seen lately, you're giving him a gift. You're anchoring him emotionally, showing that this isn't just about what's happening now, it's about what's real between you. That kind of moment changes how he looks at you. Because in a world full of pressure and performance, you become the person who brought him peace, presence, and emotional grounding. In a world where everything moves fast, messages, dates, decisions, even love, intimacy often becomes another thing people rush through. But what most don't realize is that slowing things down right before physical intimacy doesn't weaken the experience, it intensifies it. It creates a space where both people can truly feel what's happening rather than just going through the motions. And in that space, you create something far more powerful than excitement. You create reverence. Slowing down doesn't mean hesitation, it means being intentional. It means recognizing that this moment isn't just about pleasure, it's about meaning. It's about two people choosing to be fully present with each other, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. When you pause before giving your body, you're reminding yourself and the person you're with that this isn't routine. It's not casual, even if the relationship is new. It's personal, and anything personal deserves attention, not autopilot. There's something profoundly attractive about a person who doesn't rush, who treats intimacy not as a transaction, but as a ritual. When you take your time, you show a kind of emotional maturity that says this matters. I matter. You matter. That energy changes the way someone touches you, speaks to you, sees you. Because you're not offering your body to fill silence or avoid vulnerability, you're offering it as an extension of who you are. The act of slowing down builds anticipation, but more importantly, it builds emotional safety. You give the other person a chance to catch up to their own feelings, to be present with you, to let go of performance and step into connection. So much of physical connection becomes forgettable because it's rushed. But when you allow the energy to breathe, to settle, to rise slowly, it becomes unforgettable. This is also where power lives. When you're in no hurry, you're in control of your energy. You're not chasing approval or giving yourself away to avoid awkwardness. You're grounded. And that groundedness is magnetic. The slower you go, the more each touch, each look, each word gains significance. Instead of rushing into what's next, you create a rhythm where everything is felt more deeply. And in that space, you become more than desirable, you become memorable. Because most people give their bodies quickly, hoping that closeness will create emotional connection. But the ones who create emotional connection before and through the moment of intimacy, those are the ones who stay in someone's mind. Not because of technique or performance, but because of presence. When someone feels like you've turned the moment into something sacred, not routine, it anchors a different emotional experience in their mind. They don't remember the specifics. They remember how it felt to be with someone who honored the moment and themselves so deeply. That's the kind of intimacy that lingers, not in the body, but in the heart. Before intimacy becomes physical, there's a unique opportunity to shape the experience, not just by how you touch, but by what you reveal emotionally. While most people focus on expressing physical desire, very few open up about what moves them on a deeper level. But this is the space where unforgettable connection is born. When you let someone see what stirs your heart, not just what excites your body, you invite them into something far more intimate than sex. You let them feel your emotional landscape, and that's what makes the experience meaningful. Most people go their whole lives being touched, but never really felt. That's because we're rarely taught how to share the inner parts of ourselves, the memories that shaped us, the things we long for, the emotions that make us feel alive. When you let someone see those parts, you change the entire emotional tone of the moment. You're not just a body, you're a soul with texture, depth, and a story. And people don't walk away easily from someone who gives them the privilege of seeing that. When you share what moves you emotionally, you also teach someone how to truly connect with you. You help them understand your inner world, your needs, and your sensitivity. It might be the way you light up when someone really listens. It might be how safety matters more to you than excitement, or how you crave not just presence, but attention to detail. The way they look at you, touch you, speak to you. These things, when communicated authentically, give the other person a roadmap to your heart. And when someone feels like they've been handed something sacred, they treat it differently, with care, with reverence, with presence. You don't have to make a dramatic declaration. Sometimes it's in a quiet comment, a soft look, or a moment of reflection that says, "This is what means something to me." That small emotional vulnerability creates a ripple effect. It allows the other person to let down their guard too. It deepens the space between you, and most importantly, it shifts the experience from being something that happens to something that's shared. When a man hears what moves you, he's no longer guessing how to please you. He's been given insight. And insight is a form of intimacy. It means you trusted him with something more personal than your body. You trusted him with your truth. And that trust can stir something in him that pure lust never could. It makes him want to show up for you in ways he didn't even know mattered before. Emotional connection creates longevity. Physical chemistry can be powerful, but it fades quickly when there's nothing underneath. What doesn't fade is the memory of how someone made you feel in the moments that mattered. And when you allow someone to connect with the things that move your soul, you give them the chance to not just experience you, but to truly know you. And that is what makes someone stay. In the end, it's not about what you wear, what moves you make, or how perfectly you play the part. It's about the energy you bring into the moment, the stillness, the presence, the depth that says this isn't just physical, this is personal. Because what makes a man tremble forever isn't what happens between your bodies, it's what he feels in your presence right before it begins. It's the way you slow time, the way you look at him with your truth in your eyes, the way you hold your standards with grace, not fear. It's the way you let him into not just your space, but your world. You were never meant to compete with anyone else. You were meant to connect in a way no one else can. When you lead with presence, when you honor your emotional depth, when you let your heart beat louder than your body, you become unforgettable. Not because you gave yourself away, but because you made the moment sacred. And in doing so, you didn't just give him an experience, you gave him something real, something that lingers, something that changes the way he sees women, love, and connection forever.